What's going on, YouTube? My name is GT, and if you're new to this channel, we provide meaningful information around fitness and finances through interesting conversations like the one we're gonna have today. Now, RJ and I had an amazing conversation talking about crypto, sharing a story that him and I were both characters in as we made some significant gains through the Trump coin rally. Through the story, we provide two particular tips that will help you level up making life-changing money through crypto. Be sure to watch to the end, as there's some secrets at the end that we share with you, and like the page and share this with somebody you know, and we'll talk to you soon. You never, ever go late into an investment on a cryptocurrency. You never, ever do it. The money isn't made once it blows up. So by the time all of us saw the information that the Trump coin had blown up and was gone through the roof, that someone made $1 million and $120 million overnight, that is your indicator that if it's on the internet, that the money that was to be made was already made. So point number 2 here is never enter a cryptocurrency late. And if you see articles of massive gains on that crypto, that is your red flag to say, don't enter. But if there is a connecting crypto, or perhaps another crypto that has not joined but is connected to the one that took off, that is the one to enter before it runs up. So that's point number 2. Never enter late into a cryptocurrency. And if you see massive gains already had, red flag. Don't do it.
That's an amazing tip. And, you know, and when you said adjacent coin or token, it could be any stocks. If you look at, you know, Nike has Under Armour, Adidas, you know, you have Uber has Lyft, you know, you have, you know, other Amazon, Microsoft, all these, they're all competing against each other, right? So you always want to look for those, you know, adjacent things that might pop up, but you want to stay ahead of it, because, you know, the inside information is a real thing out there. You know, people know things before it happens. And unfortunately for all of us that are doing everything legally, we get the information a little bit later than some people that they, you know, that get ahead of it. There was a story about Gary V. He's very famous when it comes to motivating and stuff, but they were open about this. You know, he was on a call with all these high-end people that have a lot of money, Jake Pauls, Mr. Beast, all these people. Mr. Beast told the story, and he said, we got a call about NFTs. This was years before it popped up. He says, guys, invest. And there was like, you know, 15, 20 people on this call. And they jumped on it early. And then all of us came a little bit later, which at the end they ended up picking up profit. So, you know, you have to be careful. You have to look for these trends. You know, and you know, I'm very conservative when it comes to investing.
Yes, you are.
That's why I go to GT for advice on those things. Yeah, it's just crazy how, you know, you see those trends and you're like, oh, okay, this seems fair. This seems safe, but in reality, it's really not.
That's right. Nah, that's fantastic, RJ. You know what? And this, let me tell you this advice. What's gonna happen the next time this happens? Because there's gonna be, this year is gonna be full of surprises with investments, stocks, crypto, whatever. It's gonna be popping off like crazy in different times. The thing is that when you see those articles that somebody put, for example, $1,000, and you saying to yourself, okay, I have $1,000. I can afford $1,000. And you see that somebody laid their head on that pillow and woke up the next morning with $125,000. What happens is you're saying to yourself, well, first of all, that doesn't seem unreachable because I have $1,000. I don't have a lot more than that. But if you're telling me that this little $1,000 that I can do can turn into $125,000, then in our minds we're saying, man, then this is my chance to do it. The problem is that it was your chance to do it. By the time that article came out, that means the majority of what needed to have been made was already made. Okay, so let's go to point number 3 now. So following that, right, continuing the story, found an adjacent coin called Elon, right? And what I looked at immediately, which is point number 3, is I started looking at the technicals of the crypto. Point number 3 is you got to review the technicals. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of things you're going to want to look for when it comes to a technical. Number 1 is you're going to want to see where is support and where is resistance, okay? Resistance is that, okay, for example, if at every time when a particular crypto goes to $1, it then starts to go backwards after it touches $1. That gives you an indicator that there is a resistance at this particular piece of time in the investment, that when it gets here, it rejects. So that tells you is that if you're in the investment, you're either going to do one of two things. You're going to wait to see if it starts to reject at $1 and then you'll sell it so that you don't lose all your gains, or to see if it breaks through $1 and it goes to the next level. The other thing is just support. Okay, so support is that every time it starts to fall back, when it gets to a particular price, it then bounces up, just like it bounces off the floor, and it bounces towards the ceiling again. So consider it like a bouncing ball. You bounce the ball hits the floor, starts hitting to the ceiling. When it gets to the ceiling, hits the ceiling, comes back to the floor. When it gets to the floor, it goes back up to the ceiling. Why? Because it's in a particular room. Okay, but in investment, we call it a channel. So in the story for Elon, I was watching the chart. I didn't just jump in. You don't just jump in. But at the time, I was observing the chart, and every time it got down to 0.007, I knew that it kept bouncing up. So I wanted to get into Elon at the time. And the next time, which was around 4 p.m. on Saturday, I saw it at 0.07. I said, well, I'm at the floor of the room and I want in the room. So I went in the room and I went in the room. And so at that point in time, I knew that at least for the short time being, that it can only go up as long as it didn't break through the floor. And that's exactly what started in the room. I got in and the ball just started going up. So point number 3 is review the technicals. Look for the resistance, look for the floor, and then identify where the ball is at in the room at the time you're looking at the chart. Don't let your emotions get to you that, oh my God, I got to get in as fast as possible. It's not about as fast as possible. It's about knowing where the ball is in the room and trying to get into the room when the ball's on the floor.
That's a great advice, GT. And then the only advice I would give people, if everything that George just went over, if it's over your head, you need to take a step back and then do some research or hire somebody like him to really walk you through the steps and even in more depth so you can understand these things. You know, a lot of us, even when it comes to fitness, you know, I don't want to have a coach, I don't want to have an assistant, I don't want to have any of these things. But, you know, knowledge is not free. We go to school and college when you would pay for those classes, you know, and so most of the times, I mean, come on, I took biology in my bachelor's in exercise science. It's like, what am I doing here? Like looking at the Microsoft and stuff. Like,
I hate
this frog. You know, this frog looks cool. You know, but I can see the frog in the you know, walking on the park. You know, so you know, but I spend money on that, right? So. Yeah. You know, so don't be afraid to invest and learn these things, you know. So, and, you know, there's a lot of people out there, you don't have to, you know, looking, I trust this man with every dime in my bank account, right? And he knows that, right? And then when it comes to George, I'll tell you a little thing is he never like says, hey, RJ, I go buy this right now. He always says, this is what's on the horizon.
Yes, sir.
Make your decision.
That's right.
So my only advice is learn it. If you're struggling and to understand these things, you gotta hire somebody. So once you get that understanding, you know, working with a professional, then you can really have more confidence and sleep nice at night when you make these investments, not only in crypto, in other stocks as well. And not worry about it and waking up the next day freaking out that you just lost $1,000 because you were hard-headed and you didn't want to learn anything.